Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Double dowry, goddess who marries her brother. Law in reverse. After 4 years of long-distance love, I finally prepare to get married. But I never thought that at the wedding, my mother. Law would suddenly raise the dowry price. My mother. Law said, add another 200,000 yuan to the dowry, otherwise you won't want to get married today. I'll use this money to marry my son. Uncle. Brother-in-law, you can add some dowry so that I can marry my goddess. Bai Ziyi looked at the goddess Su Xiaonuan, who was the bridesmaid's brother. Law, while feeling angry. Bai Ziyi said, since I want to marry you for 200,000 yuan, why don't we get married? Amidst everyone's shock, Su Xiaonuan smiled and agreed, all right. As soon as this incident occurred, the whole scene shook. And at this moment, a voice came out of my mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for making the right choice and successfully activating the check.In system. Ding! System check.In successful. Reward a starry sky diamond ring worth 20 million renminbi. Additional bonus for first-time attendance, 32% stake in Dongsheng Group, becoming the largest shareholder of Dongsheng Group. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, add another 200,000 dowry to give my brother.In.law a wife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mom, please, make sure to give me 200,000 yuan. With this 200,000 yuan, I can marry Su Xiaonuan. Su Xiaonuan is the goddess that I have recognized in my life. If I don't marry her, I won't live anymore. Don't we still have a brother.In.law? He's getting married to my sister tomorrow, just ask him to get another 200,000 yuan in dowry. Dongsheng. In a brightly decorated residential building. Lin Hongbiao pulled his mother Luo Meizhu and coquettishly said. Luo Meizhu's eyes were also filled with maternal love. She touched his head and said, okay, Mom, I'll go tell your sister. After speaking, Luo Meizhu stood up directly and walked towards her daughter Lin Xueer's wedding room. When Luo Meizhu informed her that she was planning to demand an additional 200,000 yuan dowry from her son.In.law, Lin Xueer clearly felt a hint of difficulty. Luo Meizhu said angrily, you girl, have you been raised so much for nothing? Why do you ask Bai Ziyi for an extra 200,000 dowry? Is that too much? Lin Xueer said, but Mom, even if Bai Ziyi really gave an extra 200,000 dowry, Hongbiao wouldn't be able to marry Su Xiaonuan. Su Xiaonuan doesn't like Hongbiao. So what? Even if Su Xiaonuan doesn't like your younger brother, he will still get married sooner or later. If we don't ask for more dowries now, what will we give your younger brother to marry him in the future? You older sister, can't you bear to see that your younger brother won't be able to marry him in the future because of the dowry? Luo Mei said discontentedly, that's settled. When Bai Ziyi comes to pick you up tomorrow, you can directly mention this matter to him. If he doesn't agree, he won't leave with him. Luo Meizhu's words are full of absolute strength and cannot be refuted by anyone. Early the next morning. The deafening sound of firecrackers echoed downstairs. One wedding car after another drove into the community and stopped downstairs at Lin Xueer's house. Past the layers of obstacles from the bridesmaids. The protagonist Bai Ziyi finally arrived at Lin Xueer's room with a group of groomsmen. Xiao, I'm here to marry you. Bai Ziyi said gently. After 4 years of love running and experiencing too many difficulties and obstacles, I finally aim to achieve success on this day. It's impossible to say you're unhappy. However, just as Bai Ziyi was preparing to take Lin Xueer away, Luo Meizhu suddenly burst into the room. Stop ahead. Wait a moment. Bai Ziyi, to be honest with you today, if you want to marry my daughter, you must get 200,000 yuan, otherwise Lin Xueer won't come with you today. At this moment, Luo Meizhu had a sharp and sarcastic expression on her face. And his face was filled with a confident smile. On the other side, Bai Ziyi and a group of groomsmen, their smiles froze. Bai Ziyi furrowed her brows slightly and looked at Luo Meizhu and Lin Xueer, saying, "Didn't we agree on a 200,000 yuan dowry before? I gave you all a lot of money, why do we need another 200,000 yuan now?" Lin Xueer felt a bit uneasy when Bai Ziyi saw her, but she still explained, "My mother wants you to give 200,000 yuan to my brother to get married." After listening to Lin Xueer's words, everyone present had a look of shock on their faces. Even Bai Ziyi's face became gloomy. Looking at Luo Meizhu, he couldn't help but say, "Auntie, is this too much?" Luo Meizhu snorted disdainfully and said, "Too much? Where is it too much? Our family, Xiaonuan, used to be a school flower in school. People who want to marry her can be arranged to go abroad from here. Marrying you only requires a dowry of 400,000 yuan, which is already considered cheap for you. Besides, this 200,000 yuan dowry was not added for no reason, it was for your brother.In.law's future marriage. You, as a brother.In.law, should have added this 200,000 yuan both emotionally and logically." Bai Ziyi asked again, "What about the money I've spent on you all these years?" Luo Meizhu said, "What is the money spent on us?" Bai Ziyi's face turned pale as he said, "Auntie, I have been with Xiaonuan for over 4 years. How have I treated your family? Do you have any points in your heart? Not to mention the gifts I bought for you and Xiaonuan, the tuition fee for 4 years at Hongbiao University, living expenses, and even some of his expenses for internet access and equipment, which ones are not from me. Do you still want me to give him a dowry of 200,000 to marry a wife? Isn't this excessive?" However, at this moment, Lin Hongbiao suddenly walked in and said, "Brother-in-law, what do you mean by that? Isn't it right to spend money on us?" Luo Meizhu agreed and said, "That is to say, in today's society, there is no one who doesn't spend money when it comes to dating. If you don't spend money, you and Xiaonuan won't be able to get to where they are today." Upon hearing these words, Bai Ziyi's Lian suddenly became extremely gloomy. 002, System Awakening, proposed to Su Xiaonuan. You are listening at novelful.audio. He never said that dating should not involve spending money. But it also depends on what money it is. Lin Xueer's father passed away earlier, and during the more than 4 years they were together, it was her own responsibility to bear the living expenses of their family. In addition to Lin Hongbiao's tuition and living expenses, I spent at least 100,000 yuan on them myself. And for spending so much money on them, they not only lack any gratitude. Instead, they take these things for granted. Now, it's even a last-minute request to add a dowry to Lin Hongbiao's wife. 200,000. Where are you going to find this 200,000 on your own? You should know. I borrowed the 200,000 yuan dowry from Lin Xueer myself after borrowing it from family and friends multiple times. Even if I sell myself now, I'm afraid I won't be able to raise 200,000 yuan. Bai Ziyi looked at Lin Xueer and asked, "What about you, Xiaonuan? Do you also want me to give this 200,000 yuan?" Looking at Bai Ziyi's expectant gaze, Lin Xueer felt an indescribable discomfort in her heart. But in the end, he whispered, "Ziyi, I only have this little brother. I don't want him to have a bad life. For the last time, can you help him again for the last time? If you take out 200,000 yuan, we will be together completely." However, upon hearing these words, Bai Ziyi sneered and looked back at her with endless disappointment in his eyes. Time and time again, when will it be the end? At this moment, the surrounding groomsmen and bridesmaids couldn't bear to watch anymore, but after all, it was their family's business and it was difficult for everyone to speak at this moment. But on the other side, Luo Meizhu still pressed hard. "Bai Ziyi, don't talk so much. If you take out the 200,000 yuan today, Xiaonuan will marry you. If you can't take it out, when will you gather enough 200,000 yuan and marry Xiaonuan again? Bai Ziyi said, it's over. Luo Meizhu said sarcastically, then you have to gather the money quickly. Xiaonuan from our family can't wait for you for too long. Don't wait, I won't get married anymore. What are you saying? I said, I won't get married anymore. Let's break up. Bai Ziyi's words were spoken word for word. But it pierced Lin Xueer's heart like a needle. Lin Xueer couldn't sit still and stood up directly from the bed, saying, Ziyi, you. What are you saying? Are you breaking up with me? We have been together for 4 years. We've gone through so much, and you're breaking up with me just for this meager 200,000 yuan. Bai Ziyi sneered, do you also know that we have been together for 4 years? But do you know how much I have endured during these 4 years? My monthly salary is only 7,000, and half of the money is spent on your family. Excluding living expenses, I am not even willing to buy a new piece of clothing with the remaining money. In order to marry you, I searched all my relatives and friends to gather enough of this 200,000 yuan dowry, and now you even want me to take another 200,000 yuan. Sorry, there's number 200000, and I won't get married either. After today's incident, Bai Ziyi finally saw Lin Xueer's true face. A typical mother treasure girl, supporting younger brother demons. Apart from being a bit good-looking, it's useless. And her family is even more unreasonable, constantly sucking blood on herself before getting married. If she really gets married, what really hurts is herself. I used to be such a fool to believe that I would have a future with such a woman. Seeing Bai Ziyi so firmly saying goodbye, Lin Xueer's body couldn't help but tremble. Luo Meizhu hesitated for a moment before walking to Lin Xueer's side. Xiaonuan, you don't have to be sad. If you don't get married, then don't get married. This kind of man is not worth it. He can't even spend 200,000 yuan. Can we get married? With your condition, Mom will introduce you to a better and richer man in a few days. At this moment, Lin Hongbiao also walked in and said, that's right, sister. If you support our family for a little money, it will be endless. It's not like we can't do it without him. Laughing to death, it's okay to say we're breaking up. With his condition, let's split up. I see which other woman will be with him. Ha! Looking at the sharp and sarcastic faces of this family, Bai Ziyi sneered out loud. However, at this moment, suddenly, a voice came to my mind. Ding! Please ask the host to make a choice. 1. Gather another 200,000 to get married and reward with the title of Enduring Humiliation. 2. Turn around and leave, reward 10 million in cash. 3. Propose to Su Xiaonuan, the goddess of my brother. In law, and activate the check.In system with rewards. Sudden system prompt sound. It also stunned Bai Ziyi. During the 4 years I spent with Lin Xueer, almost all the money I earned was spent on their family. This has made Bai Ziyi's daily life extremely frugal. The only way to save money on entertainment is to read novels online. Nature knows that the sound that comes to mind is the essential golden finger system for the protagonist of a novel. Bai Ziyi never expected that one day he would activate the system. And facing the 3 choices given by the system, Bai Ziyi had no hesitation at all. In front of everyone, I bypassed the Lin Xueer family and walked to the bridesmaid Su Xiaonuan. Are you Su Xiaonuan? 003, Su Xiaonuan. Great. You are listening at novelful.audio. Are you Su Xiaonuan? A sudden scene. It also left everyone around stunned for a moment. I don't understand what Bai Ziyi is doing. Even Su Xiaonuan and Bai Ziyi's gaze met, and their faces appeared somewhat flustered. But he nodded and replied, Bai Ziyi continued, I heard that marrying you also requires a dowry of 200,000 yuan. Su Xiaonuan continued to nod. In fact, a dowry of 200,000 yuan was just an excuse I found to refuse Lin Hongbiao's pursuit. Facing Bai Ziyi's question, Su Xiaonuan only instinctively responded. But I never thought about it. Next second. Bai Ziyi spoke directly and said, since I want to marry you for 200,000 yuan, why don't we get married? What? Time flies. Everyone present was shocked. Looking at Bai Ziyi incredulously. Just broke up with his soon-to-be married wife and turned to propose to the bridesmaid. What operation is this? At this moment, Lin Xueer trembled and couldn't help but speak. Ziyi, what are you doing? How can you propose to my best friend? Luo Meizhu sneered on the side, it's ridiculous. Bai Ziyi, don't think that if you use this method, I will compromise and let my daughter marry you. I'll tell you, it's useless. You can't get 200,000 today, and I won't let Xiaonuan marry you no matter what you do. And let's talk about the most exciting. No better than Lin Hongbiao. Bai Ziyi, are you crazy about riding horses? My sister will propose to Su Xiaonuan if she doesn't marry you. Su Xiaonuan is mine. Do you believe I'm fighting with you? You should know that Su Xiaonuan is his goddess. He asked his mother to ask Bai Ziyi for 200,000 yuan just to propose to Su Xiaonuan. Now Bai Ziyi has directly proposed to his goddess. How can he bear to see this? However, just as the whole scene was boiling, as a party involved, Su Xiaonuan suddenly spoke up. She looked at Bai Ziyi, her eyes fixed on each other. This time, there was no panic in her eyes. Are you serious? In fact, the reason for proposing to Su Xiaonuan is entirely due to system selection. As long as you propose to Su Xiaonuan, regardless of whether it is successful or not, you can activate the check.In system. That's why we had the scene just now. However, Bai Ziyi, who had already been rejected by Su Xiaonuan, suddenly heard her question. I was momentarily stunned, as if the situation was somewhat unexpected. Without hesitation, he nodded and said, seriously. Originally, Bai Ziyi proposed to Su Xiaonuan for the sake of system selection. Even if it failed, the check.In system could still be activated. Although it was embarrassing, it was not a loss. And if successful, it would definitely be slapping on the faces of Lin Xueer's family. As expected. After Bai Ziyi answered, Su Xiaonuan surprisingly showed a bright smile and said, okay. Simply say 2 words from Su Xiaonuan's mouth. But it exploded in everyone's ears like thunder. Even Bai Ziyi was shocked. I asked incredulously, what are you saying? Su Xiaonuan blinked her eyes and then said word by word with utmost seriousness, I said, okay. I'm getting married to you. At this moment. Everyone is crazy. I originally thought that today's wedding was the result of the Lin family's sudden increase in dowry. Either Bai Ziyi compromised and went to raise another 200,000 yuan, or they simply gave up. But now, Bai Ziyi turns to propose to the bridesmaid. And most importantly, the bridesmaid actually agreed. Who could have imagined such a result? Is it okay to not even dare to write this plot like a novel? But soon. And everyone came to their senses. The first person who can't sit still is Lin Hongbiao. What do you mean, Bai Ziyi? Believe it or not, I'll trample on horses and kill you. As he spoke, Lin Hongbiao was ready to charge towards Bai Ziyi. You should know. Su Xiaonuan is his goddess. I have been pursuing Su Xiaonuan for 2 months, but I have not talked to her more than 10 times. And now, her goddess has actually agreed to Bai Ziyi's proposal. How can he accept this? It is obviously impossible for him to take action against Bai Ziyi. Even without Bai Ziyi's intervention, the 4 accompanying groomsmen immediately blocked in front of Lin Hongbiao. As the brother of Bai Ziyi, as long as Lin Hongbiao dares to take action, they will not hesitate to do so. watching four tall and sturdy men blocking in front of him. Lin Hongbiao also lost his temper in an instant. And on the other side. However, Luo Meizhu exploded like a wild cat. 004, Regretful Lin Xueer. Fake and real. You are listening at novelful.audio. Luo Meizhu pointed at Bai Ziyi and cursed, Bai Ziyi. You. What do you mean? Today is your wedding day with Xiaonuan. What's wrong with you abandoning my family Xiaonuan and marrying someone else? Luo Meizhu is so angry. I originally thought that at this critical moment when I was about to get married today, Bai Ziyi would definitely compromise with herself and raise that 200,000 yuan, but the current situation has clearly exceeded her expectations. Bai Ziyi sneered and said, "What's going on? Didn't you say that? I can't gather that 200,000 yuan dowry and won't let me get married. Alright. I'm not getting married anymore. Now I'm going to marry Su Xiaonuan. What's going on?" Upon hearing Bai Ziyi's words, Luo Meizhu felt speechless for the first time. Yeah. At the beginning, he kept saying that Bai Ziyi wouldn't let them get married if he couldn't give them 200,000 yuan. But now they really don't settle, and instead they don't do it themselves. What's going on here? But how could Luo Meizhu give up easily? She spoke rudely and said, "No way. What do you think Xiaonuan is from our family? If you don't want to get married, then you won't get married. Now, go and collect 200,000 yuan in dowry for me immediately, and then get married to Xiaonuan immediately. Do you hear that? What? You're still forcing me to get married now, right? I'll tell you, I won't marry Lin Xueer, and all the money I spent on you before, as well as the dowry money I gave you before, must be returned to me." Bai Ziyi looked at her as if he were looking at an idiot, and his words were filled with indifference that he had never seen before. At this moment, Bai Ziyi was even more certain in her heart about her decision to break up with Lin Xueer. Not to mention anything else. Can life be peaceful after marriage just because of Luo Meizhu's personality? I don't want to have too much entanglement with this family anymore. Holding Su Xiaonuan's hand, she was ready to leave. However, at this moment, Lin Xueer hurriedly ran behind Bai Ziyi and grabbed her hand, pleading, "Ziyi, don't go. I was wrong, can't I still be wrong? Don't go. I don't want that 200,000 yuan, let's get married now. Get married now. Let's go. Just. This time." Bai Ziyi shook off her hand, and there was no more emotion in her eyes. "No, we have already broken up. Put down this sentence." Bai Ziyi held Su Xiaonuan's hand and left here. Watching Bai Ziyi's back leave, Lin Xueer couldn't help feeling sad anymore and collapsed on the bed, crying uncontrollably. Having been with Bai Ziyi for 4 years, it's impossible to say you don't love Bai Ziyi. Just because her mother Luo Meizhu is causing trouble, the two have been arguing in recent years. It also made Bai Ziyi spend countless money on her own family. This time, she originally thought that Bai Ziyi would get used to herself as before and promised to raise another 200,000 yuan. But the current result has directly exceeded her expectations. My boyfriend who has been in love for 4 years has left. Their future has turned into a bubble. Even though they were almost there, they could almost achieve the desired outcome. But now all of this has become impossible. At this moment, Lin Xueer's angina pectoris. Even more regretful, why did I agree to allow my mother to add that 200,000 yuan dowry to Bai Ziyi? If it weren't for this 200,000 dowry, all of this will not happen. And on the other side, Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan have already gone downstairs. Arriving on the street, Bai Ziyi breathed a sigh of relief. I don't know why, the wedding was messed up, and I didn't feel any discomfort in my heart. Instead, I felt a little relieved. At this moment, Bai Ziyi finally understood. For so many years, the person who has always been steadfast in my heart has brought me not love, but pressure. I am just a fool who thinks he selflessly dedicates himself for love, but actually allows Lin Xueer and her family to suck blood on me. Cough. And at this moment, a slight cough came from beside Bai Ziyi, and it was only then that she remembered holding Su Xiaonuan's hand. So he quickly released his hand and said, "Thank you." Su Xiaonuan asked inexplicably, "Thank me for what?" Bai Ziyi sneered and said, "Thank you for helping me out just now." Bai Ziyi knows that he is indeed very handsome, but he does not have narcissism to the extent that he thinks that if he casually proposes to a girl, the other person will really agree to him. Just now, Su Xiaonuan agreed to her proposal, most likely because she couldn't bear to see the actions of the Lin family anymore, so she just stepped forward to cooperate with her. However, Bai Ziyi's words have just finished. "Who said I'm helping you out?" Su Xiaonuan said with a pouting expression, not fully satisfied. Just as Bai Ziyi was puzzled, Su Xiaonuan continued, "Didn't you propose to me just now? I promised you, you won't be defaulting, will you?" Upon hearing these words, Bai Ziyi couldn't calm down anymore. What does it mean? Is this a rhythm that needs to be faked? Is there anyone else watching this theme? You are listening at novelful.audio. I don't know if anyone has watched this theme during this national sports and star chart era. If you like, can you submit some data? Old author new book. Old author new book. Old author new book. 5 o'clock every day is guaranteed. Add 1,000 more flowers. Even more. Kneel down and beg. Add 50 comments and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Add 10 more monthly tickets. More. Kneel down and beg. Add 500 to the evaluation ticket and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Reward 1,000 VIP points and add more. Kneel down and beg. During the new book period, the first day data is very important. Kneel down for support. I don't know if anyone else has watched this theme when the national star chart is trending. If you like, can you submit some data? Old author new book. Old author new book. Old author new book. 5 o'clock every day is guaranteed. Add 1,000 more flowers. Even more. Kneel down and beg. Add 50 comments and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Add 10 more monthly tickets. More. Kneel down and beg. Add 500 to the evaluation ticket and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Reward 1,000 VIP points and add more. Kneel down and beg. During the new book period, the first day data is very important. Kneel down for support. I don't know if anyone else has watched this theme when the national star chart is trending. If you like, can you submit some data? Old author new book. Old author new book. Old author new book. 5 o'clock every day is guaranteed. Add 1,000 more flowers. Even more. Kneel down and beg. Add 50 comments and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Add 10 more monthly tickets. More. Kneel down and beg. Add 500 to the evaluation ticket and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Reward 1,000 VIP points and add more. Kneel down and beg. During the new book period, the first day data is very important. Kneel down for support. I don't know if anyone else has watched this theme when the national star chart is trending. If you like, can you submit some data? Old author new book. Old author new book. Old author new book. 5 o'clock every day is guaranteed. Add 1,000 more flowers. Even more. Kneel down and beg. Add 50 comments and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Add 10 more monthly tickets. More. Kneel down and beg. Add 500 to the evaluation ticket and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Reward 1,000 VIP points and add more. Kneel down and beg. During the new book period, the first day data is very important, kneel down for support. I don't know if anyone else has watched this theme when the national star chart is trending. If you like, can you submit some data? Old author new book. Old author new book. Old author new book. 5 o'clock every day is guaranteed. Add 1,000 more flowers. Even more. Kneel down and beg. Add 50 comments and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Add 10 more monthly tickets. More. Kneel down and beg. Add 500 to the evaluation ticket and 1 update. Kneel down and beg. Reward 1,000 VIP points and add more. Kneel down and beg. During the new book period, the first day data is very important, kneel down for support. 005, get the certificate with Su Xiaonuan. You are listening at novelful.audio. As expected. Just as Bai Ziyi was feeling confused. Su Xiaonuan took the initiative to grab his hand and walked forward, saying, let's go register at the Civil Affairs Bureau. And this time. It also made Bai Ziyi's heart even more shocked. Quickly speaking up, wait a minute. This time it was Bai Ziyi's turn to ask, Su Xiaonuan, are you serious? Su Xiaonuan stopped and turned to face Bai Ziyi. With a serious nod in his eyes, he said, Su Xiaonuan, never joke. I really want to marry you. Bai Ziyi said incredulously, but why? I have been with Lin Xueer for over 4 years and often hear about Su Xiaonuan from her mouth. Su Xiaonuan was Lin Xueer's college classmate, and after graduating from college, she went abroad to study. I only returned to my country in the past 2 months. It can be said that I have never had contact with her before. And this is a girl who has only heard of her name but doesn't know anything about it. Now you actually say you want to marry yourself. All of this seems so unrealistic. Just like dreaming. However, when faced with Bai Ziyi's question, Su Xiaonuan blinked her eyes and then looked back at Bai Ziyi's eyes, asking, I like it, can't I? Or do you think I'm not good enough for you? Upon hearing this, Bai Ziyi finally began to seriously examine Su Xiaonuan for the first time. It has to be said. Su Xiaonuan belongs to the typical type of neighbor sister. Just the temperament on one's body can make everyone's eyes brighten. He is over 1.7 meters tall and slender. She stood quietly in front of her, with a faint smile on her face. The slender legs are as white as jade, symmetrical and straight. The exquisite and pure beauty of facial features makes one's heart skip a beat. Long hair hangs over the shoulders, fluttering in the wind. The pure white bridesmaid dress on her body seemed to be coated with a faint layer of gold under the sunlight. If the maximum score is 100, Su Xiaonuan can get at least 95 points. And I have heard from Lin Xueer before that Su Xiaonuan's family background is extraordinary. It can be said that Su Xiaonuan is definitely a representative of perfect women. Although I only saw Su Xiaonuan himself for the first time today, it was a moment. Bai Ziyi really can't think of any reason to refuse to marry her. At the same time, in Bai Ziyi's mind, a system prompt sound rang out. Ding! Congratulations to the host for making the right choice and successfully activating the check.in system. Ding! System check.in successful. Reward a starry sky diamond ring worth 20 million renminbi. Additional bonus for first.time attendance, 32% stake in Dongsheng Group, becoming the largest shareholder of Dongsheng Group. Note: the starry sky diamond ring has now been placed in the host's pocket. Dongsheng Group shares will also be transferred to the host's name according to normal procedures. Note: all items rewarded by this system are legal and compliant. Please do not worry, hosts. Good guy. The sudden system prompt sound left Bai Ziyi slightly stunned. The choice I made 10 minutes ago was only prompted now. The delay of this system is a bit long. But it's not a problem. After all, the system reward has been credited. And the richness of the rewards is somewhat outrageous. Is there a 20 million renminbi starry sky diamond ring and a 32% stake in Dongsheng Group? These two things add up, and my net worth directly exceeds 100 million, right? 10 minutes ago, I was still a worker with a monthly salary of 7,000 and could even worry about getting a dowry of 200,000. Now, my value is enough to shock everyone. And just as Bai Ziyi's heart was filled with emotions, the system's prompt sound unexpectedly rang out again. Ding. Please ask the host to make a choice. 1. Refuse to obtain the certificate from Su Xiaonuan and reward with 10 million yuan in cash. 2. Promise to obtain certification with Su Xiaonuan and reward Ferrari La Ferrari Aperta. Over here. Seeing Bai Ziyi staring at her without speaking, Su Xiaonuan's pretty face blushed slightly. Then he forced himself to remain calm and said, "What are you keeping staring at me without saying anything? If it doesn't work out, why don't you give me a word? If you really don't think I'm good enough for you, at least I'll start with you as friends. I will definitely not let you down." At this moment, Bai Ziyi suddenly grabbed Su Xiaonuan's hand and said, "Let's go and collect the certificate." I don't know why. In everyone's eyes, she is still the penniless worker, while Su Xiaonuan is such an excellent and perfect woman. However, in front of her, she is so cautious. Bai Ziyi didn't think too much, just assumed it was his own illusion. And since the system has given a choice, coupled with Su Xiaonuan's intention, why don't we just collect the certificate today? P.S. During this national movement, when the star chart is rampant, is this theme still watched by anyone? The little author is so nervous. Can you provide some data support for those who like this topic? 006, go, register. You are listening at novelful.audio. Suddenly, Bai Ziyi held his hand and felt the warmth emanating from it again. Su Xiaonuan was slightly taken aback. Immediately, a sweet smile appeared on his face. At this point, the groomsmen who had come with them had also come down. When they approached Bai Ziyi, each of them had a somewhat complicated expression. "Ziyi, don't be too upset about this today." Just halfway through their conversation, they were interrupted by Bai Ziyi. "What's so sad? Hurry up and drive me." "Driving? Where are we going?" "The Civil Affairs Bureau." Upon hearing this, a group of groomsmen were confused, but soon they saw Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan still holding hands together. For a moment, their expressions turned into surprise and they said, "Ziyi. You. Shouldn't you?" The two of them didn't explicitly say it, but the hand they had always held together told everyone the answer. Time flies. The confusion and surprise on all faces turned into surprise. The best groomsman who had the best relationship with Bai Ziyi patted his shoulder and smiled, saying, "Old Bai, it's okay with you. We were worried about you just now. I didn't expect you. Ha ha ha. You're amazing. To be honest, when you were with Lin Xueer back then, we thought you and Lin Xueer were not suitable, but after all, you were a couple and we couldn't say anything. Now that we see you separated and found such a beautiful girlfriend, we are all happy for you. Alright, stop talking. I'm very satisfied with the result today. The brothers will drive to the Civil Affairs Bureau together. During speech, a group of people got into the wedding car and headed towards the direction of the Civil Affairs Bureau. This scene was actually seen by Lin Hongbiao upstairs. Hurriedly ran into the empty room, which was now covered in colorful ribbons. "Sister, Mom, it's not good. That guy Bai Ziyi really wants to marry Su Xiaonuan." Now they have boarded the wedding car and headed towards the Civil Affairs Bureau. What? Upon hearing these words, Luo Meizhu suddenly stood up from the bed. two eyes stared like lanterns, and the whole person burst out in anger. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Do they really dare to go and get a certificate? Can they still point their faces? In a fit of anger, she pointed to Lin Xueer and said, "And you? Look at what kind of people you know. A Bai Ziyi went to propose to the bridesmaid on her wedding day, and your so-called best friend agreed. How do I usually teach you? You're not careful when making friends. Enough." However, this time, Lin Xueer, however, refuted her mother for the first time. Her gaze turned to Luo Meizhu, her eyes filled with resentment. It's not because my mother intervened in the current situation. Although today is my day of great joy, I am about to marry Bai Ziyi for a lifetime. She insisted on adding that 200,000 yuan dowry. And now, she even claims that it was because of her carelessness in making friends, without realizing her mistake at all. This made Lin Xueer, who has always been a mother's treasure, lose her temper towards her mother for the first time. And this also left Luo Meizhu stunned in place. Just the next second, she erupted again and said, "Lin Xueer. What do you mean? I'm your mother. You're shouting at your mother, are you going to rebel? What's wrong? I said you were wrong in making friends. You." Lin Xueer couldn't listen to the rest of the conversation and didn't want to hear it. At this moment, her gaze was empty and her mind was even more blank. But at this moment, Lin Hongbiao couldn't sit still. "Sister, don't be fooled. Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan have already gone to the Civil Affairs Bureau. If they wait a little longer, they will receive the certificate. Let's hurry over now, maybe there's still time. After all, that's my own goddess. He is really unwilling to be soaked away by Bai Ziyi like this. It's also a wake-up call to the dreamer. Just now, I apologized to Bai Ziyi and was rejected by him, perhaps because he was still angry. Now hurry over and apologize, maybe everything is still in time." In a moment, Lin Xueer quickly stood up and followed Lin Hongbiao to rush out the door. And on the other side, Bai Ziyi and the others have arrived at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I don't know why, the usually crowded Civil Affairs Bureau is actually empty today, and several windows at the registration office are empty. At this moment, Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan held hands. Su Xiaonuan couldn't help but become nervous again. "Did you really decide to marry me?" Bai Ziyi nodded and said, Su Xiaonuan couldn't help but ask, "Aren't you afraid of me playing tricks on you? Aren't you afraid that I'm actually an unclean woman who wants to take over from you?" Bai Ziyi looked at her and asked in reverse, "Are you?" This immediately made Su Xiaonuan nervous again and she quickly shook her head to explain, "Of course not. She has never had a boyfriend yet." Bai Ziyi held her hand tightly and said, "Is there any other problem?" "No, it's gone. Let's go, register." During speech, Bai Ziyi led Su Xiaonuan towards the inside. 007, the system's thoughtfulness. Su Xiaonuan. Husband. You are listening at novelful.audio. Also, because Luo Meizhu intervened, Bai Ziyi and Lin Xueer have not yet obtained a certificate. I guess she had already planned to trick herself again when she got married. But now, Bai Ziyi wants to thank her instead for not allowing herself to obtain the certificate from Lin Xueer. At the same time, I don't know if it's a coincidence. Su Xiaonuan went out today. Surprisingly, I happened to bring my household registration book. So, when I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan each had an extra red notebook in their hands. Under the sunshine, two red notebooks shine brightly. It also made the smiles on the faces of Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan uncontrollable. At this moment, holding on to Bai Ziyi's arm, Su Xiaonuan's gaze turned to Bai Ziyi's profile. As the stars flickered in his eyes, he softly called out, "Husband." A sudden address. Bai Ziyi turned his head to look at her in surprise. It was clearly me who led Su Xiaonuan into register just now. But even now, Bai Ziyi still feels that all of this is incredibly dreamy. It's not because I got married, nor is it because the person who got married is not Lin Xueer. But it's because I actually married such an excellent woman. Since recognizing the true face of Lin Xueer and her family, in Bai Ziyi's mind, any woman on the street is 10,000 times better than her. And if compared to Su Xiaonuan, the difference between the former and the latter is like the difference between the soil on the ground and the white clouds in the sky. Today, I woke up to the system and married Su Xiaonuan. For Bai Ziyi, Su Xiaonuan is just like the system, both of which are the best gifts bestowed upon me by heaven. At this moment, hearing Su Xiaonuan's husband, Bai Ziyi's face immediately overflowed with a happy smile. At the same time, he also called out, "Wife." I never thought about it. Su Xiaonuan's cheeks quickly turned red, and then she lowered her head as if unwilling to be outdone and called out, "Husband." Bai Ziyi chuckled lightly and continued to shout, "Wife. Husband. Wife. Husband, wife." The two of them tirelessly called each other's names over and over again. This also makes the groomsmen around unable to bear it. Ah. Stop spreading dog food. Give us this dog's life. I regret it, I'm just cheap. I should have waited for you in the car. This way, I won't be abused. I don't care, Bai. You found such a beautiful wife now, you must also introduce one to us. Yes. Introduction, it must be introduced. I want someone with fair and beautiful skin. If she is a wealthy woman, the previous conditions can be slightly relaxed. Come on, you guys. I've never seen a woman by your side before, and there's also the fourth one. Aren't you married? Be careful, I'll sue my sister. In law. Bai Ziyi rolled his eyes at them in frustration. Suddenly, several groomsmen also gave a casual smile. The groomsman, who was called the fourth, had a playful smile on his face and said, "That's all I said, don't take it seriously, huh?" Then he regained his composure and said, "All right, let's not joke anymore, old Bai. I just checked the time and found that we haven't wasted too much time. If we hurry over now, maybe we'll still have time to attend the wedding." Upon hearing this, Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan couldn't help but glance at each other. Although it was only today that the two met for the first time, at this moment, there was an unprecedented tacit understanding between their eyes. Perhaps not only can I get a certificate today, but I can also get married directly. Get back in the wedding car. A system prompt sound suddenly sounded in Bai Ziyi's mind. Ding! Congratulations on the successful host selection, reward Ferrari Aperta. Note: Ferrari Aperta has been parked in the host's residential area parking space, and the key has been stored in the host's pocket. Please check it carefully. Note: all items rewarded by this system are legal and compliant, please do not worry. This note is the last reminder. No more reminders after this. Ding! The Civil Affairs Bureau has successfully signed in. Reward 1 billion RMB worth of Phoenix Yufei wedding dress and Phoenix Seeker dress. Note: Phoenix Yufei wedding dress and Phoenix Seeking Phoenix dress will be received later. Please check your account carefully. Hear the system prompt sound. Bai Ziyi's mood has improved. Not only because of the system's rewards being received, but also because of the system's thoughtfulness. At this moment, Bai Ziyi realized that Su Xiaonuan was still wearing a bridesmaid costume. And the wedding dress was still worn by Lin Xueer at this time, but now the system immediately signs in and rewards the wedding dress and formal dress. The level of thoughtfulness is self-evident. Then everyone hurriedly got on the car and rushed towards the wedding venue. 008, was there an error in the design of the wedding dress received? You are listening at novelful.audio. Hello, may I ask if this is Mr. Bai Ziyi? I am from Mina High-End Wedding Dress Customization Service Center. Your customized wedding dress and formal dress are already in our store. May I ask when you will come and take a look? We'll go over now. Okay, I'm waiting for you in the store. On the car. Bai Ziyi suddenly received a phone call. I didn't expect that the rewards for system check.In would also be credited in this way. After speaking, he hung up the phone. Prepare to go to the wedding dress shop first. I thought I needed to change direction. Unexpectedly, Mina's High-End Wedding Dress Customization Service Center is less than a kilometer ahead. This once again made Bai Ziyi deeply feel the thoughtfulness of the system. Soon, they arrived at Mina's wedding dress store. Upon entering, a professional staff member approached with a smile on their face. Excuse me, are you Mr. Bai Ziyi? Bai Ziyi nodded and said, it's me. The smile on the staff's face suddenly became even brighter. Please come with me. After speaking, he walked in with Bai Ziyi and the others. Follow the staff all the way. The groomsmen behind them were a bit nervous and whispered in Bai Ziyi's ear. Old Bai, how can this staff recognize you? I know getting married requires a wedding dress, but have you come to the wrong place? Yeah. Lao Bai, this is Mina Wedding Dress, a well-known high-end customization store in Dongsheng. Every set of wedding dresses here costs over 1,000,000 yuan, and we don't accept any rental services. How about we switch to a wedding dress shop instead? Obviously. They have all heard of Mina's wedding dress store. For them, this wedding dress shop belongs to the kind of unattainable existence. Not to mention customization, I don't even have the courage to take a glance at the store on weekdays. And now. Bai Ziyi naturally followed the staff in with them. Nature made them feel a little uneasy. But Bai Ziyi smiled and said lightly, don't worry, I have a plan in my heart. Soon. They followed the staff to the customization area. 4 or 5 staff members subsequently brought the Phoenix Yufei wedding dress and the Phoenix Seeker dress. When the wedding dress and formal attire are presented in front of everyone. In a moment, it caught everyone's attention. It has to be said. A wedding dress and formal attire worth 1 billion RMB is truly incomparable to ordinary wedding dresses. Even laymen like them can feel the extraordinary charm that comes with their wedding dresses and formal attire at a glance. Let everyone's hearts involuntarily rise with a feeling of, this thing should only exist in the sky, how could it fall to the mortal world? This wedding dress and formal dress are also too beautiful. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This style is too exquisite, and the embroidery is also too exquisite. I'll go. Are those bling diamonds on the skirt? It's too luxurious. And just as everyone is lamenting. The staff spoke with great respect and said, Mr. Bai, this is your customized Phoenix Yufei wedding dress and Phoenix Seeking Phoenix dress. What? Hear the words of the staff. Everyone present was stunned. Someone dug out their ears and even doubted if they had heard the wrong thing. What are you saying? This wedding dress and formal dress were custom-made by Bai Ziyi. Did I hear you wrong or was I dreaming? Old Bai, did you really customize this wedding dress? Bai Ziyi smiled faintly and then nodded. Then he looked at Su Xiaonuan beside him, only to find that Su Xiaonuan's gaze at the wedding dress was already stunned. Bai Ziyi gently pinched her face. Feeling the ultimate smooth texture, he smiled and said, let's go try on the wedding dress. At this moment, Su Xiaonuan finally realized. It has to be said. No girl doesn't like wedding dresses. Even though Su Xiaonuan's family background is extraordinary, it is also the first time she has seen such a beautiful wedding dress. For a moment, I was stunned. At this moment, when she regained her senses, her pretty face couldn't help but blush slightly. Go try on the wedding dress. After speaking, Bai Ziyi held Su Xiaonuan's hand and prepared to go with the staff to try on the wedding dress. Just at this moment, the staff suddenly spoke in embarrassment. "Mr. Bai, there is something I need to tell you. As our wedding dress is designed by an overseas designer, and the measurements in China and abroad are different, there were some errors in the design of this wedding dress, and there may be some size deviation. Here, all of our MENA wedding dress employees express our profound apologies to you, and we are willing to refund you 50% of the money. May I ask if you and your beautiful wife can make do with it?" Hear the words of the staff. Not only Bai Ziyi, but everyone present couldn't help but frown. Did you make a mistake when customizing a wedding dress worth 1 billion yuan? Normally, this is absolutely impossible. But Bai Ziyi suddenly thought of something. Then he said, "Don't worry for now, let's try first before we talk. P.S. Thank you all for your data support. In order not to affect your reading experience, the data submitted by everyone will be remembered by the author when they see it in the background, so they will not list them one by one. But still shamelessly ask for a series of data such as flowers. Only when the data is in place can we make updates, and only then can the author have the motivation to update." 009, it fits perfectly. Lin Xueer is going to rob her relatives. You are listening at novelful.audio. The staff had a thick expression of apology on their faces, but still took them to the fitting room to change their wedding dress. It's also very fast. The door of the fitting room opened again. Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan both changed their clothes and walked out from inside. And when they appeared in front of everyone wearing wedding dresses and formal attire. But suddenly the whole room fell silent. This made Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan look at each other with some confusion. And the next second, the silent wedding dress shop suddenly erupted with countless exclamations. "Oh my goodness! What did I see? Good looking, Lao Bai. You and Su Xiaonuan look so beautiful in this wedding dress and formal attire. A talented man and a beautiful woman, a perfect match, a perfect match." I used to have no concept of these words, but now that I see you two, I realize that these words describe you all. Oh my goodness. You two shouldn't be the immortals in the sky, right? The Fenghuang Yufei wedding dress and Fengqiu Huang formal dress were jointly designed by renowned overseas designers. When they learned that the Gold Lord came from China, they also specifically studied Chinese culture, whether it was styles, silk and lace, as well as excellent embroidery skills. All contain a strong Chinese atmosphere. After this wedding dress was designed, it was immediately hailed by overseas fashion industry as an art piece of century wedding dresses. And Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan themselves belonged to the category of ultra-high beauty. After they put it on, they immediately showcased the extraordinary charm of this wedding dress and formal attire to the fullest. This gave everyone the illusion that they were from the heavenly gods. And at this moment, the staff of the wedding dress shop who followed Su Xiaonuan out were also full of shock. It's unbelievable. It's simply unbelievable. They immediately reported to the store manager, although there was an error in the size of the wedding dress design. When I was just putting it on for this young lady, I found that the size was not too big or too small, just right. The degree of fit can be said to be seamless. As soon as this sentence is spoken, everyone present was once again shocked. You should know. Customizing wedding dresses requires at least 3 months in advance, and in their view, Bai Ziyi also customized this wedding dress 3 months ago. In theory, what he gave should be Lin Xueer's body size. But now the bride has become Su Xiaonuan, but due to the designer's mistake, the size of the wedding dress has also changed, and it actually fits Su Xiaonuan's figure perfectly. What does this represent? Is this just the legendary fate? Oh my God! I can't believe it. The designer's mistake made the wedding dress perfect for Su Xiaonuan. Sure enough, Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan are a perfect match. At this moment, even Su Xiaonuan felt extremely surprised. Looking at Bai Ziyi, he said, "What's going on?" Bai Ziyi looked at her gently and said, "Perhaps this is fate." Bai Ziyi certainly knew the reason behind it, and even anticipated that this wedding dress would be suitable for Su Xiaonuan's size. After all, when I signed in and got the wedding dress, I had already obtained the certificate with Su Xiaonuan. The system will naturally distribute rewards based on Su Xiaonuan's body size. But since the wedding dresses were all booked at least 3 months ago and I was still with Lin Xueer at that time, I would definitely customize them according to her body size. So the system arranged a design error, allowing the size that was originally suitable for Lin Xueer to be reasonably changed to a size that was suitable for Su Xiaonuan. This is what the system prompt says. All reward items are legal, compliant, and reasonable. It has to be said. The system is really thoughtful and amazing. Alright, the delay has been too long. We need to hurry to the wedding venue. At this moment, Bai Ziyi's reminder brought everyone back to their senses from the shock. Quickly helping to lift Su Xiaonuan's wedding dress and deliver it to the wedding car. Continue rushing towards the wedding venue. But at this moment, I received a call from Bai Ziyi's parents. And on the other side. Civil Affairs Bureau. When Bai Ziyi and the others just left. Lin Hongbiao, Lin Xueer, and Luo Meizhu have already arrived here from behind. But it was discovered that Bai Ziyi and the others were not there. After asking the staff at the window, they found out that Bai Ziyi and Su Xiaonuan had already obtained their marriage certificates. This made Lin Xueer feel like she had been electrocuted, and tears couldn't stop flowing down her face once again. Unbelievable. Surprisingly, Bai Ziyi actually obtained a certificate from Su Xiaonuan. The person who originally obtained the certificate with Bai Ziyi should be the one who got it right. At this moment, Luo Meizhu on the side spoke up, "Stop crying. What's the custom of crying and crying? Isn't it just a Bai Ziyi? If he can't get married, it's his loss. He's the one who cried. If it's not serious, Mom will introduce you to a better one later. I promise you'll like it and make Bai Ziyi regret it." Lin Hongbiao leaned in and whispered, "But Mom, if sister can't marry Bai Ziyi, he wants us to pay the dowry. 200,000 yuan. I've already taken it to buy a car. What should we pay back then?" This statement. Suddenly, Luo Meizhu fell silent for a moment. "In my heart, there is also a hidden danger." After a brief silence, Lin Hongbiao suddenly spoke again. "They must be going to the wedding venue now, we still have time to rob our relatives." Influenced by Luo Meizhu. The thoughts of the siblings are relatively futile, and obtaining a certificate is just a matter of national certification. Only after a wedding and 3 kowtows and 9 bows can it be a marriage recognized by our ancestors. In their hearts, it is obvious that the latter is the most important. As long as the wedding is not over yet, everything will still be in time. And Luo Meizhu also slapped her thigh. Yes, they can't get married. Although Bai Ziyi is not pleasing to the eye now, in order not to repay the 200,000 yuan dowry, he must not be allowed to marry another woman. And Lin Xueer listened to Lin Hongbiao's proposal. I also wiped away the tears from the corners of my eyes and stood up. Let's go. Rob the family.